Abubakar today gets a certificate of return as the PDP's flag bearer and has asked that the party should get to work while seeking a united house. And a former Chief Judge of Anambra State, retired Justice Peter Umadi, emerged as the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale in Abuja. Let's get started, everyone. We now have yet another flag bearer for the 2023 presidential race. It's that of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. Today, a former Chief Judge of Anambra State, retired Justice Peter Umadi, has emerged as a presidential candidate of APGA. Justice Umadi, who was the sole presidential aspirant of APGA, was declared a winner of the primary election of the party earlier today. His candidacy was affirmed by 150 delegates who voted at the special convention of the party held in Abuja, the nation's capital. The former Chief Judge, in his acceptance speech, asked Nigerians to respect the ballot and promised to secure votes at a polls that will transform the country. Take a listen to APGA's presidential candidate.
My solemn pledge is to develop Nigeria from within. I will work assiduously for sound education, affordable health care, food on the table, security of life and property, and one's ability to achieve their life ambition in a setting presenting a level playing field and predetermined standards. I pledge also to remove my personal interests in its entirety from the picture in the course of my official duties if elected.
There you go. The APGA's presidential candidate, Justice Umadi, where it then gives us an understanding who the man is. Justice Umadi is a professor of law at the University of Nigeria who joined APGA following his retirement as the Chief Judge of the state in March 2019. There you have it. Unopposed, he emerged as the presidential candidate of APGA. Now, this makes the third presidential candidate that we have altogether, beginning with the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, who emerged over the last weekend. And afterwards, we had Mr. Peter Obi, former Anambra State governor, who has now emerged as the presidential candidate of Labour Party. And now we have the APGA presidential candidate, Peter Umadi. Well then, so much to talk about. Now, there's a lot that is going on within the PDP. Now there is a search for a running mate to Atiku Abubakar. Will it be one of the governors of the PDP? Will it be one of the ex-governors? Will it be one of those who ran against Atiku in the race? The search is ongoing as we speak within the PDP. Who will it be? There's a lot of questions to be answered. Now, and again, another issue that's come up since Atiku Abubakar emerged is how to unite the PDP. It does look there's some part of the party that are disintegrated and unhappy with the scenario. Atiku Abubakar is asking for them to unite. These are some of the issues I will bring to the fore on the program tonight. Stay with me. But first, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
All Progressives Congress governorship primary election appeal panel in Benue State is raising alarm over the conduct of the primary in the state. Chair of the panel, Princess Uzoma Onyema, while expressing her frustration at the revelation arising from street protests and other petitions submitted to her panel in Makurdi, the state capital, is alarmed on how the state working committee suspended the May 26th indirect primaries after delegates had been mobilized only to ask them to go for direct primaries at the ward levels.
On behalf of the national that sent us here, whosoever is aggrieved, you have a right to be aggrieved because us 50 million, because us 5,000 as a delegate, you must be treated well.
Youth under the umbrella of the All Progressives national stakeholders have urged the president not to allow his choice for a president amount to an imposition and a foreclosure of the chance of a free and fair contest. Speaking today in Abuja, the convener of the group, Aliyu Audu, says they wonder what informed the change of position of the president, who said that his successor will emerge from a free and fair process, unlike what obtains at the state level where governors brazenly handpick their successors.
The APC national stakeholders believe that the choice of the president should not amount to an imposition or foreclose the chance of a free, fair, and credible contest, where the candidate who reflects all the values and virtues of the party and has the potential to defeat the candidate of other political parties will be democratically elected.
After successful presidential primaries of the People's Democratic Party, a coalition of national solidarity movement for Atiku Abubakar is asking Nigerians to elect the flag bearer of the PDP as president come 2023, so as to give impetus to the private sector to boost the economy of the country. A group of youths, the Ekiti Patriotic Front, has called on security agencies and chairman of INEC to note and act on political violence and unreported attacks across Ekiti State. The group alleges that some political party rallies and members are being attacked by forces enjoying superior backing, adding that a few persons were injured and hospitalized following such violence. And the Labour Party governorship primary slated to hold today in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, has been postponed to the 9th of this month. No reason has been given for this development. The Director General of the Peter Obi Presidential Campaign Organization, Doyin Okukwe, speaking to journalists shortly after a meeting with the State Working Committee and party faithful at the Weroin Press Center, said victories are assured in the next general elections.
We are coming now to work together to return power to those who it originally belongs to, the workers.
There you have it, your political roundup, and you are up to date. Now, let's get into our major conversation for today. I was going to show you the faces of those who have emerged so far in the presidential race. Of course, the Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, Peter Obi of Labour Party, and Justice Peter Omadi of APGA. The three of them so far, as far as we know, in those who have conducted their presidential primaries so far, those three have emerged. All right. It was an unusual sight at the Wadata House, the headquarters of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, which witnessed an unusual crowd, and so with supporters and members of the party besieged the party office to witness the presentation of certificate of return to the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. Atiku is getting the certificate of return after he won the party's presidential primary at the National Stadium in Abuja. At the presentation, the presidential candidate of the party is appealing to members of the party to work together with him to ensure that the party wins the 2023 presidential race. Take a listen to Atiku Abubakar.
My chairman, my dear friends, while I am excited and happy for this opportunity to bear our party's flag again, let us all remember that what just happened is a contest within a family to decide how to put our best foot forward. The main contest is the one to win the presidency of our country for our party, as the chairman said. And it requires the entire PDP family and other supporters and sympathizers. We must pull everyone together. Nobody should be excluded, I beg of you. I have already visited some of those who contested against me as a way to lead in that effort to unify the party. so that we can face our real opponents, defeat them in the elections, and begin the process of rescuing and rebuilding this country. The callous and dangerous APC misrule over the past 7 years is there for everyone to see. However, we should not take that or their defeat for granted. We must unite and work extremely hard for every single vote in this country. There is so much to do, and there is very little time to waste.
There you have it. Atiku Abubakar wanting unity and working together with others. Well, the party national chairman, Senator Yocha Ayu, has his reasons why he wants Atiku Abubakar to get to work or even win the general election in 2023. And these are the thoughts of Senator Yocha Ayu.
The president that is coming in is tested and trusted. He will lead us to reunite the country. He will lead us to rebuild the economy. He will lead us to get rid of bandits and terrorists.
Those are the views expressed today at the presentation of the certificate of return to Atiku Abubakar. But the journey to Atiku's emergence saw a lot of horse trading and intense politicking. And now there are talks of reconciliation and forging an alliance to ensure the PDP win in 2023. Well, let's get some views, especially informed ones, of those who were in the midst of the old game on how Atiku emerged. I'm being joined tonight by one of those who are in the know of all of the politics, a former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido. He joins us from Kano. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. Give us an understanding, because from what I hear and understand, I heard that you played a very major role in speaking or convincing the man the national chairman of the party has described as a hero of the PDP convention, the governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal. What was it that you said to him?
Thank you, Sheon. I hear him now. I hear him, Sheon. I hear him.
Excellency, please go ahead.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Now, there was no hero, and there is no hero, as far as I'm concerned, in the last convention. All people in PDP are all heroes because we're working for the party, for the best, best policy in terms of whom we present. And I've been saying this, for a long time. There is a huge, especially for Nigeria, there is something effort for PDP in terms of which way for how do we conduct our primaries. There are a number of pessimists who thought, it will never work out. People who thought, no, PDP cannot do anything. But then I've been saying PDP is a political party which was founded on some principles. It's a party which is very, very organic. It's a party, which was founded, a vision for Nigeria. People who are thinkers about this. Therefore, I've been saying, no matter what have been the precipitations to the build-up of the convention, at the end of the day, we know what Nigeria expected. They want to fit PDP, and therefore we'll do the right thing. And therefore, there is no hero. The only hero here are PDP members all over Nigeria are the heroes. And they continue who are well qualified, who are able to come together at the convention and make sure that an environment of peace prevailed. And I think there's no better testimony for the fact that it was a very, very good convention, more than what Wiki said, that he said, look, to him, the convention was very, very transparent, very, very credible, and he believes in it. And therefore, he will do anything to support whoever wants. And I think that says a lot about us. So I'm not talking about a hero or heroes, no. The heroes are the people in PDP because we're there for Nigeria. We should, we gave Nigeria what we think should be there for all Nigerians.
I mean, the question I was asking is the role you played in convincing Governor Tambuwal to step down. What was it that you said to him? Because I understand that it took a lot to make him to step down.
That is your own understanding. That's what you see. You understand. You see, it is not me, Lamido, who told him anything. It is the collective wisdom of the people in PDP and the process. Look, what do we do to make sure they do the right thing? So it's not about Sulamit or who talk to anybody or Tambo. No, it's not me.
I'll speak to the issue of reconciliation. Governor Wike had said that it was some kind of backstabbing and that it could have scuttled the convention based on what happened on the grounds there. How do you view the comments coming from the governor of River State?
You see, Sean Wike is a normal human being with feelings and emotions and also expectations. And therefore, while the expectations are not met naturally, the emotion come in naturally. It's only anybody would have thought that way, the way we acted. It's not about our human feelings and our own emotions. So they don't do anything wrong. Look, even UK, they have a competition between Ed Miliband and I think David, Edward, when they're doing their convention from the same family, the same mother. Two of them were the convention where they never leader. Two of them. One of them won. One lost. So it's a normal phenomenon in elections for people to converge and they sit down together. And then at the end of the day, somebody must win, somebody must lose. But then there should not be anything called fear of injury. All of us, are there for the party. Wiki is a very, very senior member of the party who has done tremendously well for the party. He made some huge contribution to the party. And in the last 2 years, there's nobody who talked about the party more than Wiki. I agree. But then you see, at the end of the day, it is the quality of the people of Nigeria, of PDP, which will prevail. So it's not like, not anything like elders, no. It is what you think. I've been saying, by the time we convert the convention, no matter what might have been the precipitation in terms of expectations, the division, north, south, west, we'll do the best for Nigeria. And this is what we think we're doing the best. And even we get test for it was a very, very open and very, very transparent, convention. So I think I don't want to go into the personal feeling of injuries. It's normal for him to feel what he feels. It's normal. But then over time, time can heal anything. All of us are being elected from time. Look, in 2011, it was between the convention was between Abuja, between Jonathan and Atiku. All right. And we're all there for Jonathan. Not because from we're there because we're there for the PDP for Nigeria and also work for Jonathan. And Atiku was defeated. Atiku must have felt terribly injured. But then again, it's part of the normal human phenomenon. When you want something, you don't get it. You feel a bit sad. I understand. But then time will heal. So it's now time for more, it's time for us to speak, in a very, very temperate way, in a very, very unifying way. So, we don't further, escalate, the feeling of people. We should be able to now pacify people, come together, and then put the bigger picture called Nigeria. It's Nigeria for more than anybody. In the next 30, 40 years, 50 years, all those who are now keep playing will be around. Nigeria will be around. Those who only Nigeria, 50 years, they're all dead. So you see, it's about the Nigerian country, the country called Nigeria for Nigeria of the future, a country which is very, very important in Africa, which plays a role in Africa, a leader of the black race. That's all about it. So beyond the emotions, beyond the personalities of different from Nigeria. So it's about what will be the future of Nigeria. How do we make sure they unite behind this convention? In fact, all the injuries, suspicion, whatever you call it, backstabbing you call it. But in the single family, it's a single family of the PDP. And no matter how somebody has to imagine. So please help us to unify the party. Help us.
Let me ask you, I know it won't be an easy task to heal, especially those who have brought a lot of effort in the race. Give us an understanding of what has become a major criticism of what people say the role money played in the primary. How healthy do you think that is for your party moving forward of our democracy? Do you think largely that the process was monetized?
In our last program with you, I said, look, convention in the last maybe 10 years, have become something like a human trade fair. I said so. They become a human trade fair where people are normally purchased as articles of merchandise. I've been saying so. But then again, you see, at the end of the day, money is not everything. There's something called, the persona or the human beings, in us, that we're human beings. We've got, a nation of self-worth. We've got also human values. We've got something called pride and honor around us. So you see, the convention of PDP on Sunday, even though there was talk about money, but then you see, ultimately, it's not what money which won. Money did not win. What prevailed and won was the will of the Nigerian people, was the will of people in PDP to do the right thing. It was that commitment, that will, that desire for better Nigeria, not money. So money might have played a role, but then the key issue, really, not that there was no money. Money couldn't have made it that way because there is no way Atiku would have if I talk about money. So you see, I mean, it is the collective wisdom of people in the party, the governors, the elders, north and south, and the prayers on Nigeria. We prayed and prayed and prayed. Said, look, God, please guide us to the right thing. God, guide us because we are now at a crossroad. The APC has literally destroyed Nigeria. I didn't say so. We're not going to be giving each other. We don't trust each other. There's no trust.
So it leads me to this point, Your Excellency, the fact that is Atiku Abubakar a candidate sellable to Nigerians to win the 2023 election for the PDP. And it also brings it for whether or not the party is going to make a right decision on who becomes the running mate to Atiku Abubakar. From which part do you think will be the brightest or the best idea? Could it be from the Governors Forum of the PDP that a running mate should emerge for Atiku Abubakar? You are a former governor and you are a major stakeholder in the party and you speak to the conscience of the party. How do you think your party can go through all of these and at the end of the day win an election that is being touted to be one of the most intense, most contested election in the history of our politics?
You see, sure, I've been saying all around that PDP is a political party which has history. In the last 25 years, we've produced 3 Nigerian presidents. All the governors today in Nigeria, former governor of PDP, those governors who are in APC and PDP. So you see, it is this huge history behind us, which is all for Nigeria, which will be able to guide us. And by the time we sit down, in that collective of the Nigerian family of the PDP, it's not about, whom do we give Nigeria and the air to achieve, and the same wisdom will prevail. The same love of the country will prevail. The same effort towards reconciliation will prevail. We'll do all we can to show that, at the end of the day, we'll do the right thing. And we'll say, why don't we keep on scheming and planning? Then we pray to God, God guide us to the right thing. Because at this point in time, we need God more than anything else. Because this country is gone. I mean, APC has destroyed Nigeria. So, you see, to me, it is what we do as a collective which is more important. Not, from where whether from former governor or serving governor. You see, what do we do should be going to be the best, best for Nigeria, the best candidate for Nigeria, the best pair for Nigeria. And I assure you that by the time we converge, we'll rally around the candidate and we'll bring in all the various issues on the table and see how do we forge ahead and put the best really made for Atiku. And I assure you that by the time we're through that, before the country will become again, there'll be a huge sense already. Yes, PDP again has done the right thing. That's what we normally do. We already do the right thing in the last minute. That's the problem. Others cannot do it. No matter what you can say PDP, when it matters most, we do the right thing.
All right, Your Excellency, I think we should anchor on this point. Part of the question I was raising is whether or not an Atiku Abubakar is a sellable candidate for the PDP, whether or not your party too is sellable to Nigerians in 2023.
Fine, I agree. Shaun, can you please buy Atiku for us? Please buy Atiku. Shaun, please buy Atiku. Will you? Buy Atiku and the running mate. Please buy him. If you buy him, others will buy him. We're going to campaign. You understand? So we're beginning with you. Please, Shaun, buy Atiku.
I mean, unfortunately, I don't have opinions in that. When it comes to that point, I don't have opinions because when it comes to partisan politics, I try to say my legs are on one line. I don't know where to stand. I don't know what. I don't even have an idea about these political parties. All of them look the same to me. But well, because I'm a journalist, that's my job. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for coming. It's good to speak to you again, Your Excellency, former Governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Shaun. I'll phone you privately, as we know. Please, I'll phone you personally and privately. And that's what you please. Thank you very much.
All right, let's speak to yet another sector of the PDP. Younger, but those that looks so much that they feel some of the feelings of the younger generation in the PDP. We're speaking with one of the elders of the party, former Governor Sule Lamido. I'm being joined by a lawyer and a member of the PDP, Ilemana Onoja. Thank you so much, Ilemana, for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, Shegun.
You were laughing.
Yeah. I mean,
is Atiku a sellable candidate?
A couple of things to answer that question. One, he has a history, right? History of delivery in office. He's not a new face, so to speak. There's antecedents that he can present and say, I was able to achieve this, that, and the other while I was in office as vice president of the country. That includes the ability to deliver economic reforms, included the ability to deliver telecommunication reforms, service reforms, and everything. So there's a category of achievements that he can point to and say, yes, this is essentially what I did in the past, and then this is what I can replicate going into the future.
We have a population of voters between the age of 18 and 35. And when former Vice President Atiku Abubakar left office in 2011, it was in office 1999 to 2023, 2023 to 2007.
Yes,
a lot of them may not even remember who an Atiku Abubakar was when he was in office in 2007. About 1999 to 2007. So the consciousness of the young, this population that I'm talking about, 18 and 35, to convince them, they make about 60% of the voting population in Nigeria.
And
how will your party convince this bloc that Atiku is the right man?
One of the things that the PDP has always been about is building a tree under which some of his party leaders might not be alive to stay under, the shade under which they might not be alive to stay under. That people were young at the time does not negate the fact that they enjoyed the benefits of that governance even to the day. I'll give you an example, telco. One of the strongest parts, one of the strongest producing, most inclusive for young people parts of the Nigerian economy to this day, in spite of the best or the worst efforts of the Buhari administration, has been ICT, telecommunications. That has only been possible because of a policy that was implemented as far back as the year 2000. That we are being able to see fintechs prosper, that we're being able to see all sorts of ICT platforms prosper, goes back to a telecommunications revolution that was built in the year 2000.
It brings me back to the question, is Atiku a sellable candidate? Is PDP sellable to Nigeria today?
I'm saying that once you put them beside the APC, you will see a and this is where I disagree with your point that the parties all look the same. No, the results have shown us 16 years and then the last 7 years that they're remarkably different.
Really?
Yes, they're remarkably different. I can point out to you.
Bukola Saraki was a former APC, Atiku Abubakar, former APC, Rotimi Amechi, former PDP. So the question when
what's the
difference between the platforms are the same, are different, but the people who cross those platforms are just the same.
Ask yourself why fundamentally the performance of certain people change when they leave one party to the other. Ask yourself that question. Why are there people who are a little bit more cosmopolitan, more open-minded, and then they go to the APC and then they're narrow-minded? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself why the PDP is able to point to pro-capitalist policies that encourage business, that gets government out of business. And the APC's flagship policies are welfarist, socialist at best. Ask yourself why.
Okay, we'll take a breather. But one fundamental issue that I'd like to speak to is how the reconciliation will happen. You, for example, you worked for Bukola Saraki. Is your team healing? Has it healed? Are you guys ready to work for Atiku Abubakar? These are some of the issues that I'll raise with you when we come back from this break. And of course, when we come back, we'll be speaking with a chieftain of the APC, Honorable Farouk Adamu Aliyu, on the concept of consensus and what the decision of President Buhari could be on the party's choice. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much and welcome back, everyone. Ilemina Onaja is a member of PDP and a lawyer. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
So the question is, as your camp healed, the principal got a 70 vote as against the winner that got over 300 votes.
We're healing. Like most Nigerians and like most members of the party, we're driven by a passion to contribute positively to socio-political, development and growth in the country. That includes being able to either do that directly or being able to contribute to somebody else being able to do that. And that's the position. The position is this, like His Excellency Alhaji Sule Lamido said, this was an intra-party affair. It was a competition of ideas within the House. Having completed that process, of course, it might take some people a shorter period of time to come onto the same page and will take others, but our party has always been known for that, the ability to come onto the same page and then to offer to Nigerians a completely different path from the 7 years of economic terrorism and maladministration that we've been compelled to suffer under. I have no doubts that, at this point, I actually do have to give Dr. Bukola Saraki a lot of commendation. The work that was done by the National Reconciliation Committee before the primaries, long ago. I mean, over the course of 2021.
Was it being prevailed upon to step down for Atiku?
I'm not going to answer that question, sure.
Okay, why not?
It's not in my place to answer.
Okay, you're not privy to it?
That's not what I said. It's not just in my place. That's his story to tell, and I'm sure that he'll tell that story when the time is right.
Okay, so now, there are meetings, there are consultation and considerations on who will be the running mate to Atiku Abubakar.
Yes,
and whether or not where the party is going to look to. Is it the Southwest or the South? Because all of these permutations will also determine how the party can win the election. We understand that, in fact, the selection or process is ongoing within the party. In your own mind, where do you think is best for the party to look into?
I don't have an opinion as to where is best. What I have an opinion is as to what sort of profile is best. Our party has to pick someone who's urbane, somebody who understands the issues. Our party has to pick someone who's empathetic, somebody who has an understanding of what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, how it needs to be done. Our party has to pick somebody who has a proven track record of being able to deliver excellent quality service while in
Will it be a Southeasterner? Because now you've gone to Northeast where they've never had it.
It is necessary at this point to speak across the Niger, right? So you're representing you've picked somebody from the Northeast. It's important at this point to speak across the Niger. Which of the southern regions, I really don't know what that is. I don't know what it is. But like I said, I think it is more important to speak as to the profile, the sort of person the person will be, the vice president, the running mate will be, and what that person brings to the table, as opposed to...
Ilemina Onaja, lawyer and a member of the PDP. Thank you indeed for coming tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Sean.
Well, then we should focus and we move into what is happening in the APC. Yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari met with governors of the APC, and when he did that, before he left Abuja for Spain, President Buhari, we understand, recommended that such a person that will fly the party flag must be one that will be widely acceptable to Nigerians in every part of the country, as well as understands the values of the APC. But there are fears of the consensus option and what could in turn look like an imposition. Well, in all of this, the statement of the president is very clear. He has said that he wants someone who is capable, not only capable, he's also looking at a situation where the person will be someone that will get the votes of Nigerians. And he says here that the objective must be the victory of the party, and the choice of candidate must be someone who will give the Nigerian masses a sense of victory and confidence even before the elections. It says in keeping with the established internal politics of the party, and as we approach the convention in a few days, therefore we should solicit the reciprocity and support of the governors and other stakeholders in picking my successor who will fly the flag of our party for election into the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2023. What does this mean? I'm being joined by Honorable Adamu Aliyu, a former minority leader in the House of Representatives and the chieftain of the APC. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Good evening, Nigeria.
It does look, one thing is very clear. The president says there is a need, he is wishing for and soliciting for reciprocity and support of the governors and other stakeholders for him to pick a successor. So it does look like we might be seeing a situation where the president's preferred candidate or preferred person will be the candidate. Is it?
Well, I assure you that there is not going to be any imposition. So it's not going to be president nominating a candidate for the party. No, it's going to be a Nigerian candidate, actually. You know, he said it there. So our party is going to look at who will be the best for Nigerians. We're not looking at northern or southern candidate now. We're looking for a candidate for this country, for all of us. So, and the president has not in any way said that he wants to impose a candidate for the party.
But what he said is very clear. Allow me, I plead with you, allow me to pick my successor.
Okay.
So in whatever sense, out of the 15 to 18 people that have bought forms, invariably it means that, guys, you may have bought forms, but my choice still will override everyone's choice.
That will probably be his wish, and that will probably what he meant. But let me give you an example. During the last convention of the party, choosing the leadership of the party, the president spoke in the same manner, that the governors should go and fill in the vacancies left after he recommended others. But he didn't go that way. You know, so still the party decided what happens. So even now, I assure you, it's going to be transparent. There is not going to be imposition, and the winner will carry the day. Absolutely.
I mean, how it's not too much of a news to people that there are delegates and there is a super delegate. There is one super delegate, which is the president. And it looks to me, and to a lot of people, that we might see a situation where the APC might go into the National Convention at the Eagle Square with a consensus candidate. The bigger question here is how the party or the president will be able to convince everyone, including those who sat with him on the table and cooked the food of the APC, and to tell them, step down. And those who have said, how will he look in them in the eye and tell them to step down? How that will happen is a bigger question.
Well, first of all, the president never said he's going to ask anyone to step down. He didn't say that. But then, you know, concession is part of, whether somebody will concede. So consensus is part of the process agreed, by the government of this country. I mean, like, it's the law. Now that it's part of the options that the parties can use. So if APC, in the wisdom of the leaders, agree on a consensus, and remember, there is not going to be, nobody will be forced. Consensus will mean the person writing that I have conceded to so person. So whether the president will look at anybody in the eye to tell him to step down, it will be left for the person, whoever the person is, to agree or not to agree with the president. So whether the president is a super delegate or not the super delegate, that's your opinion. But I assure you, he's a Democrat. He's not going to impose anybody. That I assure you, Mr. President will not impose any of those candidates, any of the aspirants. But of course,
what gives you the confidence that he will not?
Yeah, because I know so. I know so. He will not.
What gives you the confidence?
Because I know him. He will not do that. Because
where do you think the body language of the president is swinging towards?
Well, the body language of the president is a Nigerian candidate. For us, for the APC.
Are there Ghanaian candidates in all of the aspirants?
No. There are none. But what I'm saying, a Nigerian, which means an acceptable candidate for Nigerians across party lines. Because there are persons within the 23 of them that are there that if you pick, will probably be both candidate for APC and the PDP. Yeah, so that's exactly what he's talking about.
So, and for your party, one thing is also very important. And Atiku Abubakar, who is no stranger to the APC, he ran against President Buhari. He ran not only the primary in the general election in 2019, he ran against President Buhari in the primaries in 2014 in Lagos. And he's not a stranger. He understands the internal workings of the APC. He understands the politics of Nigeria. He's been in the game for a long time. It does throw up something, that the game is no longer going to be the same. The trick your party used the last time, you might have to rejig it. to be able to defeat an Atiku Abubakar. Does an Atiku Abubakar candidacy upset anything in your party?
No, first of all, Atiku Abubakar is not somebody that you can ignore. It's not, he's somebody, it's a person that, yes, we need to look at it critically. Who among our aspirants can beat Atiku Abubakar? Because we know him, we know what his antics are, we know what he can do and what he cannot do. So we are going to look at someone who can beat Atiku Abubakar. That's exactly, whether he has thrown the spanner into our calculation, now that's for us to discuss, not on national TV.
But does he throw some jitter into your party?
Not jitter, definitely not jitter. No. You said it. We know him very well. He knows us very well. So we know what to do to defeat Atiku Abubakar at the polls.
So I just give this,
whoever the candidate of the party is.
And I give this analogy. If someone who has lived in a house is asked to go rob the house, he definitely knows where the trap door is, he definitely knows where the back door is, then if you hear that such a person is the one robbing, or even a former banker robbing a certain bank, you know there is trouble. As against a stranger who is fighting such a person. So the question is whether or not, if you want to show it publicly, that's another thing. Whether or not Atiku Abubakar gives you a form of headache or throw up some butterflies in your tummy when you hear the name in the APC. But certainly, you must go back to the drawing table, is it?
Well, Atiku Abubakar is no pushover. Certainly, he's not a candidate that you can say ignore him. No, we're not going to ignore him. But we cannot ignore anybody in the PDP. So, an Atiku Abubakar, certainly it's something that we need to look at. Who amongst our aspirants can beat Atiku Abubakar?
How many of those do you have?
In the party?
Do you have up to 5 people that can beat Atiku?
More than that. More than 5, definitely.
Can you mention names? Those who can beat?
More than that.
Tinubu, can he beat?
Well, Amechi can. Of course, Bola Tinubu. Emeka Nwajuba.
Can Oshibajo beat him?
Oh, yes. Oshibajo, of course, the vice president, and so many of them. Honestly, in fact, probably there are not more than 2, 3 that can probably be a walkover for Atiku Abubakar, but majority of the members of our aspirants will beat Atiku Abubakar. And look, we are also the ruling party. We're not going to sit by and allow just things to go like that. We will do our homework to ensure that, look, things are done properly, that Nigerians will vote for APC because of what we have done.
Is Atiku Abubakar making your party look north?
Well, some leaders of the party are looking at that. Yes, that's the truth. But the president, who is the leader of the party, is looking for a Nigerian candidate. I am one of those that is looking for a Nigerian candidate. I have no sentiment for north or south. I'm looking for a candidate that can beat Atiku Abubakar at the polls, wherever he might be from. And I'm sure our party is going to do the right thing.
So let me read again the portion where the president made it very clear about his wish. And he's soliciting the help of the party. He says, quote, in keeping with the established internal policies of the party and as we approach the convention in a few days, therefore I wish to solicit the reciprocity and support of the governors and other stakeholders in picking my successor. That's the words. Those are the words of the president, who would fly the flag of our party for election into the office of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2023. This will cause some shock waves, and this kind of scenario had caused some destabilizing issues within the party. We've seen it happen. That when this kind of factor comes to play, people get angry and they want to pull down the roof on the house.
Well,
Has your party envisaged this kind of scenario?
No, absolutely. First of all, you're not a member of APC. You just said it earlier while talking to Lamido. You are apolitical, so you don't know what's happening in my party. I assure you, the president made his speech, and of course, we are looking at the speech, and we're talking, we're meeting, consultations are ongoing, consensus is also a probability, but if consensus are not met before the time, we'll go to the polls, and whoever wins will be declared the winner. So, I mean, I don't know why this is the second time you're reading this portion, reciprocity. Of course, the president means that, look, by him allowing, not interfering in any state to bring a candidate of his, like President Buhari to say, I want X in so-so state. So he wants that reciprocal gesture that the governors should ensure that nobody interferes, including him, in where the candidate comes from or who the candidate of the party is. That's exactly what he means.
No, I don't think that is exactly what he meant.
Well,
no, because he said, allow me to be able to pick my successor.
No, he didn't say that.
No, that's what he said.
No, he didn't say allow me pick.
Let's look at it very well.
Did he say allow me pick?
No, can I read it, Honorable, again? He said, I wish to solicit the reciprocity and support of the governors and other stakeholders in picking my successor. It's very clear. The language is very clear.
Well, it's subjective. Honestly, this is subjective. And I assure you.
Let's look at it objectively.
Yeah,
let's look at it objectively for what he said.
I assure you.
I'm soliciting your help. This is what the president said.
I assure you, Mr. President shall not handpick anybody. No, it will certainly be through consensus. Even if he has, as a human being, he has somebody in mind.
He has always said it.
No, I said he must have somebody in mind.
No, he said it. Exactly. Not like he.
Exactly.
Has said it.
Yes, but that person he has in mind, he didn't say that person till now because consultations are ongoing. And that does not mean, whoever he has in mind, does not mean that person will be the accepted candidate of the party. He could have his candidate of choice, but then the majority of the party, the leadership, will decide whether that his choice is going in tandem with the wishes of an aspiration of majority of the party. And I'm telling you, he will drop his candidate, whoever he is. Whoever his candidate.
Is it possible to be of the former CPC bloc? That's your own bloc.
No. It certainly cannot. That I can tell you. Take it to the bank. It can never be anywhere from the CPC bloc. Certainly.
So we should rule that out.
Rule CPC bloc from it because he is from the CPC bloc. He's already done his tenure. Certainly none of us. I would have probably bought the ticket to contest for the presidency because I know it's beyond our reach. Certainly not CPC bloc from whichever part of the country.
Okay. Well, on a final note, the bigger picture is this: Nigeria, and what this race and this game means for the average Nigerian. Some of them who may not even be able to afford 3 square meals, probably struggling to get 1 meal per day and get going and get money into their pocket and food on their table. The question is how, whether or not your party has done enough to meet the aspirations of Nigerians and some of the promises your party has made. You're one of those who told Nigerians and sold APC to Nigerians. The last word that I would like from you is whether you can look Nigerians in the eye tonight and tell them that vote APC again, and whether that is justified.
It is certainly justified. Whether we have challenges, yes. Whether we had challenges, yes. Whether there are certain things that we didn't know of and now they are cropping up, yes. So, yes, vote for APC because, look, this is our government. Whatever you will say of it, we've come out clean to fight the corruption, fighting members of our party, to ensure that, look, there is probity in governance. So we're doing our best, and I'm sure Nigerians will believe us in what we have done and what we are doing for the next 1 year. So APC will come back as the ruling party of the country.
After the primaries, I'd like to have you back.
Certainly.
To discuss it. Because I know you have an idea of the president's choice. You're very close to him.
Yes, I do have.
Thank you so much for coming tonight.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.